Hello and welcome to this channel. I'm Payman Ansari, and in this video, I will implement a rank-based or popularity-based recommendation system in Node. I use an Amazon dataset related to beauty products to explain it. The link to the dataset is in the description. The definition of popularity is the average rating that a product receives from users. Simply, we calculate the average rating of all products and then sort them from highest to lowest. Then, the first few rows can be recommended to all users. To mitigate potential bias, we exclude users with a low rating frequency and products that have received a very few reviews. Let's get started. First, open a new NIME workflow. Give it a name. And bring the dataset here using CSV Reader and configure this node. Here you need to locate where the dataset is. And you can take a look at the dataset here. As you see, we have 4 columns. User ID, which is a unique ID for each user. Product ID is a unique ID for each product. Rating is the rating that a user has given to a product. And timestamp, which is the time of the rating that that product has received. And we don't use it in our model. Click OK and execute. We can take a look at the data simply by right-click and click on File Table. And this is the data set that we have, which includes more than 2 million rows of data. In order to remove users with a low rating frequency, what I'm going to do is to count the number of rating that each user has given to different products. And in order to do that, I use a node called group by. Bring the node here, connect it with this one, and configure it. For groups, use user ID. And for manual aggregation, I use rating. And the aggregation is going to be count, which means that I count the number of rating for each user ID. Click OK and execute it. Let's take a look at the result. The result is a new table with user ID and the count of number of rating that each user has given to different products. What I'm going to do next is to add this column to the original dataset. And as you see now, we have 1.2 million rows of data. And in order to join this one to the original data, I use a node called joiner. Bring the joiner operator here. And it has 2 input, which joins 2 tables. The first table is our group by table, and the other one is the original data. And configure this one. Join both tables based on user ID, because this is unique for both of them. And for comparing values in join column, use values and type, and I'm going to join all of the data. And for the left table, I don't need user ID anymore because we have it from the original data. I just use the count rating. But from the original date table, I use all of them. I can remove timestamp as well because I don't need it. And leave the rest as it is. Click OK and execute it. Let's take a look at the result now. As you see now, we have count of the rating for each user added to the original data set, and the timestamp is being removed from the data. Next, in order to remove products that have a few number of rating, I'm going to do the same. Count the number of rating that each product has received using group by operator. Bring the operator here, connect it with joiner, and configure this. This time I'm going to use product ID for groups, and for manual aggregation, I use rating again, and I count the number of rating. And because I need to calculate the average, I do it here as well. So I add rating again, and this time I'm going to calculate the average. Click OK and execute it. Let's take a look at the result. Now, as you see, we have two columns. And for each product ID, we count the number of rating that it has received and the average rate. I'm going to add these two columns to the original data set as well. And in order to do that, I use, again, joiner. Bring this operator here and connect it with group by and the previous joiner. And configure this. This time, I'm going to join them based on product ID. And again, use all of the data from both tables. And here, I don't need the product ID anymore. And we use all of the data from the right table. And leave the rest as it is. And execute it. And now let's take a look at the result. So as you see now, another two column has been added to the data set. And this is the number of rating for each user. This is the average rating for each product. And this is the number of rating for each product. And next, what I'm going to do is to filter the users with a low rating frequency and products that have received a very few number of rating. And in order to do that, I use a node called row filter. Bring the row filter operator here, connect it with this one, and configure this. I'm going to add filter and use the count of rating And the number of rating based on the user, I'm going to be greater than or equal, let's say 100. Add another filter. And again, I'm going to use count of rating, this time for products. And I'm going to choose greater than or equal 100 as well. Click OK and execute it. And let's take a look at the result. So as you see, now we have only about 2,300 rows of data. The next step is to sort the results based on average rate using a sorter operator. Connect these two operators together and configure this. The first criteria, I'm going to choose mean of rating, and I'm going to order them descendingly and add another criterion, and I'm going to choose count of rating for each product and choose that one descending as well. Click OK and execute. Let's take a look at the result. So we see that here, results is being sorted. This is the first user ID. This is the product that we can recommend to the users. And this product has the average rating of 4.889, and the number of rating that it has received is 168. And we can decide the first few rows, let's say 10, 20 of them recommend to all users.